All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. Big news in the welterweight division. Terence Crawford might be trapped by Bob Arum, as we all predicted would happen. Let's talk about what the WBO just did with Josh Taylor in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. We're going to talk about the welterweight division and the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Bud Crawford, Terence Bud Crawford, and what most likely will be a situation where he has gotten bottled up by Bob Arum and the Whatever Bob Orders organization, otherwise known as the WBO. But before we get into that, let me first say thank you to everybody that supports the channel. Thank you guys very, very much. Know you got a lot of choices of who to watch and all kind of different channels out there. So I really appreciate every time you guys come by and talk boxing with me. If you're not subscribed, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you can be notified of when we release more videos, and make sure you hit all notifications so that you don't just get them occasionally. Also, if you wager on boxing or basketball or any other sports, if that's your thing, we have a special partner, BUSR. You can go to busr.ag/Fanon and you will get special promotional values over there if you wager on sports. So take advantage of that there. All right, so Bob Arum is a vet. And as a result of him being a vet like he is in the boxing game, you know what the man is going to do a lot of times before he does them. But you know what they say, just because you know what he's going to do doesn't mean you can stop him. So Terence Crawford, who is the WBO welterweight champion, suing Bob Arum for breach of contract, is in court, is not working with him at the moment. But he has that WBO belt. A weight class below is a fighter named Josh Taylor, who is the undisputed champion at 140 pounds, similar to what Terence Crawford was before Terence Crawford moved up to 147 pounds. Well, the WBO just made an announcement today that Josh Taylor, is the WBO's super champion, which means since he is a super champion now, right? And they give him the super champion because he's undisputed. He has the IBF, the WBA, the WBC, and the WBO. That means as soon as he moves up, he becomes the mandatory for the champion in the weight class above. So as long as as soon as Josh Taylor goes up to 147 pounds, he becomes Terence Crawford's mandatory challenger. And that means that Terence Crawford must face him next. And that, my friends, is why I tell you that Bob Arum is a vet, even though you know what he's going to do before he does it, and it doesn't mean that you can stop it. This is exactly what Bob Arum did with Jeff Horn. If you recall what happened with Jeff Horn beat a top-ranked fighter named Manny Pacquiao. When he beat Manny Pacquiao, he was on in order to get the fight, he took 2 option fights. He had to have 2 option fights with Bob Arum. So, but he did not, Jeff Horn, sign to Top Rank or extend it beyond those 2 fights. So what did Bob Arum do when he no longer had, or he knew that he was not going to have the WBO champion at welterweight in his stable? He moved Terence Crawford up. Terence Crawford was named the WBO super champion, and immediately Jeff Horn had to fight him. Jeff Horn got 1 fight against a guy named Gary Cochran in the UK, and then after that, he had to fight Terence Crawford. It was a mandatory fight, so if there was a purse bid, Bob Arum has the ability to bid on the fight, and Bob Arum can be the promoter of that fight. Terence Crawford now is in the exact same situation that Jeff Horn was in, where Bob Arum can now move Josh Taylor up there and do that to Terence Crawford. So Terence Crawford is going to have a couple choices here. One, Terence Crawford can stay a free agent, right? Not sign with the PBC or whatever he's doing, and then be forced in a situation where Bob Arum after this fight with Josh Taylor. And I'm telling you, I think Josh Taylor is doing it after this fight because Josh Taylor has a lot of sanctioning fees to pay to keep all of those belts, right? So after that's up, Josh Taylor is going to skip town on 140 pounds, move up to 147 pounds. And then what does that allow to take place at 140 pounds? It allows guys like Teofimo Lopez and other top-ranked fighters who could be at 140 pounds to fight for the title shots that are there. It makes more room again for Jose Ramirez, who is still at 140 pounds, that is fighting for top rank and is fighting Jose Pedraza in just a couple weeks. Allows for him to fight for those championships again, and Bob Arum to keep all of those belts he's got at 140, and then have Josh Taylor challenge Terence Crawford there at 147. Now, some people may say, well, doesn't matter because Terence Crawford is just going to beat Josh Taylor. It's going to be that easy. Do not think it's going to be that easy when you're dealing with in boxing and in a sport where everybody associated with it admits that there is rampant corruption in it. They always admit that, but however, there's a caveat, always admit that there's rampant corruption in boxing until it has something to do with their fighter, and in which case everything's all fair and good when it's particular people. But outside of that, they will say boxing's a dirty sport, all of that. One of the ways that people get robbed is when they have to fight on the road against a popular champion. If Bob Arum wins a purse bid to make that fight with Terence Crawford and Josh Taylor, more than likely that fight is going to head over to the UK or specifically to Scotland, and Terence Crawford is going to have to go over there and fight Josh Taylor on the road. If Terence Crawford goes over there and fights Josh Taylor and does not knock him out, that I believe is going to be I think he needs a knockout to get a draw against Josh Taylor over there in the UK. Everything is going to be against Terence Crawford in that particular circumstance. Also, Josh Taylor is a good fighter. I do not believe he is on the level of Terence Crawford. I do not believe that. However, if he is able to put up anything resembling a good fight and he goes the distance, you can bet on them saying and the new on Terence Crawford and Bob Arum getting those belts back and not having to deal with Terence Crawford and having his Golden Boy champion like I know that the man wants. So, all in all, like I said, Bob Arum is a vet. He ain't giving up nothing for free. These dudes know what they're doing. This scenario is almost the exact same scenario that Terence Crawford was in when Terence Crawford moved up to fight Jeff Horn, with the great difference being that Terence Crawford, where Terence Crawford was almost a surefire win on Jeff Horn. Here, Josh Taylor is far from a surefire win against Terence Crawford, but again, man, like I'm telling you, Terence Crawford being forced to go over there and fight over there in Scotland with Josh Taylor, that's just a recipe for a disaster. Just like when Manny Pacquiao went over to Australia to fight Jeff Horn, right? Nobody saw that fight turning out that way. It's supposed to be a walk in the park for Manny Pacquiao. It wound up being anything but that, and a controversial decision comes at the end for the hometown crowd. So anyway, that's my take on the matter. Just want to let you know what's going on. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. Leave your comments. Please be polite in the comment section. Otherwise, I'm definitely not going to respond. I'm probably just going to delete your comment and move on, man. For all the people that feel like, YouTubers always got to be your punching bag in the comment section. But if you really want to talk boxing, man, leave a comment in the comment section, man. We can talk about it. Also, check me out on Twitter. I respond on Twitter, Instagram, all those good things, and we can chop it up about boxing. With that, I'm out. Peace.